Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CRN. We're here with the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series playoff race number 3 at Atlanta Super Speedway. It's not really called Super Speedway, but the way that Atlanta races now, we can essentially say it is a Super Speedway. But before we dive into that, I have a co-host here with me tonight. That's going to be Tyler. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name until you tell me what your last name is. But Tyler's going to step up into the broadcast booth with myself here tonight, help me out for the last few races. And Tyler, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty well. By the way, it's Skozen. That's how you say it.
Scos.
But yeah, no, I can't wait. Love Atlanta. These trucks are super fun. Love driving around this place. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely going to be something fun out here to watch. Obviously, Atlanta. It's not about where you start. It's always going to be about where you finish. And a little bit of all throttle time. Just because you can go full throttle doesn't mean you should. I've taken that away from Dustin Hall, the truck builder for the Team Conti Sim Performance setups, and I took that with a grain of salt. And everywhere I go where you can potentially go full throttle, I don't. I always make sure to lift just a little bit, make sure everything's good to go. But looking at our starting order here tonight, it's going to be Wesley Triplett in the number 74 on the front row with Gary Donnellan in the number 4. Third is going to be Braden Puffenberger. Fourth is going to be Nathan Lee. Running at your top 5 is going to be Jarrett Larder. Sixth is going to be Austin Smith. Seventh is going to be Joshua Neal. Eighth is going to be Chad McNeil. Ninth is going to be Kobe Sutphin. 10th is going to be Logan McNeil. 11th is going to be Jeremy Carter. 12th is going to be Kayla McKinney. 13th is going to be Michael Smith. 14th is going to be Cameron Combs. 15th is going to be Lance Brantlinger. 17th is going to, or 16th is going to be Wayne Garland. 17th is going to be Anthony Garland. So 17 trucks out here tonight. Obviously, it says 18, but Chance Manning being our race control out here tonight, that's why his name is up there. He's not racing with us here tonight, as these trucks going to get ready to go on out onto the track for the first time side by side. They had 45 minutes of practice to get all the way around at this track to see what can happen. And now, Tyler, there's only one more thing to do. Get these trucks going up to speed, seeing what we're going to be able to see. I predict maybe a couple of 3 wide racing all the way around the racetrack. It is wide enough now to get the 3 wide racing until you get to that tri-oval. The tri-oval gets a little skinny. It's way more skinnier than what the old tri-oval used to be at the older Atlanta. May be able to see some drivers going below the white and red line through the tri-oval, but then you also have to worry about kind of like the Phoenix International Speedway. If you take that dog leg, you got to watch your surroundings coming back up to the rest of the field.
Oh boy, can't wait. It'll be pretty easy to know what's going to happen here. We know what Talladega Light is like. We know what Daytona's going to be like. I expect nothing different from here. 3 wide, wrecks, crazy racing. Can't wait. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely going to be something out here to watch. And already, Barry Kistler out there in the broadcast chat saying good luck to all these drivers.
Green, green,
His
green.
green flag is out for the first time here for the Mid Atlantic Racing Series playoff race number 3. Wesley Triplett with, I believe that is Jarrett Larder, already trying to push themselves out to a little bit of a lead. They're going to be able to do it, but Austin Smith all over the back bumper of that number 16 machine, going to keep him in contention on that outside. And it's not about where your friends are right now. It's about where they're going to be at on that last lap, because everybody knows how plate racing goes. Everybody's going to be your best friend up until the last lap, but it's, are they going to stick with you all the way around to the checkered flag? Is lap number 1 is complete. I believe they're going to give that lap lead to Nathan Lee on that outside, with Austin Smith giving him a wild push. He's going to propel himself up to the front, but not going to be able to get clear of that number 74. And it's still a dogfight all the way through this race. I mean, you got the majority of the racers down on the inside. Obviously, the more trucks you have down on the inside, the more resistant it's going to be. You're going to have more of a access to run. But I mean, you got 4 cars up on, or 5 on that outside, and they're kind of holding a little bit better than the inside. The inside is not really formed up the way that they need to be, and they're giving a little bit more space than what the bottom lane is. So the bottom lane is going to be checking up just a little bit more than what the top would be.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we have more trucks here on the bottom, which, you know, you're going to want more trucks in your line, but it all depends on who's going to be more organized. Right now, the top seems fairly organized. Wesley drifting up there a little bit. That's what's hurting that lane a little bit because Nate Lee is staying pretty strong up top. He's going to get pushed to the lead, and now it's just one truck up top. It looks like that's Austin Smith all by himself. So now, how is he going to be able to hold it here? He's going to be losing some momentum here, but he's going to come right to the back, it looks like, of Chad McNeil. So we're going to see how this continues to go. But right now, it's a 3-truck breakaway up front.
Yeah, already a 3-truck breakaway right there, and that's everybody's worst nightmare, right? You're running a plate race, or Atlanta, we could say, and you're like, all right, you know what? Hey, look, man, I'll push you up to the front, and then the minute that they get clear, they drop down to the inside, and then they kind of leave you out to dry. I don't like that. If I'm gonna help you push to the lead, you better wait till I get clear to go down with you. Obviously, I push you to the lead for a reason. You know I'm a good pusher. At least wait for me to get on over there. Is the 82 and the 10 get together there, able to keep it out of the wall. But another thing to note is these trucks have a new damage model. If I think honestly, if these trucks were to go around here going at least 190 mile an hour, I believe they could potentially get airborne and do a blowover with the new damage model, the way that their rear ends hike up whenever you get spun or anything like that. So could potentially see a blowover here tonight. Pit road's definitely going to be one of those things where you're going to go from 190 mile an hour down to, I believe, pit road speeds 40 to 45 mile an hour. So gauging where to let off the throttle, get onto the brakes going into pit road is definitely going to be something key for these drivers to do here tonight. I expect a long green flag run, even potential green flag pit stops.
Yeah, now I'm really focusing on these trucks right now, and from what I can tell, none of these trucks seem to be handling very well. They are absolutely all over the place, sliding up, back and forth. They're trying to get good arcs into the corners, but all these drivers are just going for every single spot that they have, any little bit of room or space, and look at that, just sideways right there. Josh Neal can barely hang on. These drivers, oh my goodness, this is absolutely wild, and we still are going to have 100 laps to go. If this is what we're going to be seeing, boy, this is going to be wild.
Yeah, this is Daytona and Talladega stretched into a little mile and a half as Joshua McNeil up into the outside wall. He keeps it up there. Nobody's going to get tagged. Great driving by him as the Caleb McKinney, I believe, and the Overton got tagged there just a little bit, but no harm, no foul, not even a scratch on the number 82. So that safety barrier doing what it needs to do. He was able to get off of it. He's got a little bit of a scrapage on that right or the left side door. He's going to drop all the way down to the back, going to go back up here towards the front. As, you know, for me, obviously, me being a racer, I've got all these little sim apps open, and I'm gauging my fuel. Obviously, you're going to want to take your time to run as many laps as you possibly can. The less pit stops you have to make, the better. It all comes down to what you want to do. If you want to be up at the front, obviously you're not going to be saving a lot of fuel, but towards the back you could be.
And the tricky part is, especially at a super speedway like this, I mean, I've seen it, I've done it, I've raced on this track myself. It's not easy to pit here, especially if it's going to be a green flag pit stop. That's going to be something that these drivers are going to absolutely fear, because you don't want to come in by yourself. You're going to want to come in with the group, because if you come in by yourself, boy, you're going to come out of pit road, have no draft, have no speed whatsoever, and then when everybody forms back up, you are probably not going to be in the draft anymore. So that's going to be interesting for these drivers to gauge when they want to pit, and they're going to even have to do it orderly too. They're going to have to be careful getting on and off of pit road. But right now, these drivers continuing to go crazy. Nate Lee holding on to that lead, and he's been doing a really good job of keeping these drivers behind him. But right now, that bottom lane is staying organized. The top is getting there as well. Almost a little bit of contact there in row 2. But boy, they're going to continue to go. The outside looks like it's going to get a little unorganized, but how about the run up top by Wesley Triplett hanging on? It's going to lead that lap here. but it's going to be the two of Jarrett Larder pushing Nate Lee back to the front.
Yeah, Nate Lee winning the last 2 races on the schedule so far, looking to go for a 3P. He's going to be one of the top contenders to win the championship here tonight. Obviously, Homestead last week, it was a really good race. Not a lot of cautions, a lot of green flag runs doing what they needed to do, but it was Nate Lee coming out on top there at that racetrack. Austin Smith, in that number 23, the Celsius Live Fit Toyota Tundra, he was one of the series contenders last season. This season, not having the best of luck here. He's always been competitive. He's always been pretty quick, but now he's just kind of taking his time, being mellow, and doing what he needs to do. And again, going back to your point about pit road and how many people you want to have with you, obviously it's always going to be good to stagger yourself going into pit lane, right? So for me, when I go in at any type of plate track, I say, look, if I'm pitting, I'm going all the way down to the inside wall. That is my line, and don't take it. I don't want to get hit from the rear, and I don't want to hit anybody in front of me. That's how I'm going to do it. I just ran Daytona last night for the Hold the Line, HTL Next Gen Cup Series, and I was just a fill-in driver, but everybody knew where I was going to go just because I've ran in that series for 4 years. They knew, all right, I know he's going to go all the way down to that inside. Well, that inside ended up getting taken away from me, so I had to do it around the outside. I ended up jumping 5 people in pit lane, and I was good to go from there. But that's a next gen. That's not a truck. Trucks are going to be a little bit more different, especially here at Atlanta, as we got a 4-car kind of breakaway, I guess you could say. Fifth car being Kobe Sutphin in that number 10 machine. He's just trying to figure out which lane's moving, which lane's not, where do I want to go, what do I want to do, as Wesley Triplet gets credited for leading that lap.
Man, I wanted to highlight because that happened last lap and into the wall. I believe that was Wesley Triplet. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but looked like harmless, only 1 truck.
Yeah, it was only 1 truck. Not sure if he got a bad push from Austin Smith or maybe net killed between him and the 16 pushed him up the racetrack. I'm not 100% sure, but that's going to leave the 26 of Jeremy Carter and the 23 of Austin Smith up to the outside all by themselves. And then you got a long train of cars down on the inside. But Austin Smith and Jeremy Carter holding on fairly strong on that outside, keeping them relatively up there towards the front.
Yeah, and you can see the checkup there by Kobe down there on the bottom. That's going to really hurt the momentum. So now what will Austin Smith do? He has a good run there coming off of turn 4. Can he side draft? He's going to get right to that left rear quarter panel of Jarrett Larder, and he's going to get right back to the outside and have that help from behind by, it looks like, Jeremy Carter there. And now he's going to go side by side for the lead here. Big pushes by that 2 on the bottom. He's loose. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, super loose going into the quarter there for the number 2 machine, but Nathan Lee notices how much of a run Austin Smith is getting. He's going to go up and protect that top lane. Almost got himself turned to the outside wall there with a late block there, but able to keep them both straight and keep them facing in the right direction. Now you got 3 cars. You got Cameron Combs, now 4. So you got Nathan Lee up top, Austin Smith, Jeremy Carter, and Cameron Combs on that outside lane. Jarrett Larder's going to lead the inside lane. And if I'm not mistaken, stats have proven to show once he sees that Jarrett Larder's going to have that big run down to the inside, Nate Lee might be able to get down to the inside if he can be clear. And there he goes. Stat shows, proves correct. Nathan Lee back down to the inside, giving Austin Smith that clean air.
Again, I will praise Nate Lee here because, again, he is doing a really nice job holding this lead here. He's seeing all the runs. He's letting drivers take the runs that they get into the wall a little bit. The 26 and the 23, that's going to hurt their momentum, but they will keep it going straight. So good to see, but now they're going to have to rework for everything that they just did. They were in row 1 and 2 there, but now they're going to have to reform, hopefully, get back in line. Try to get back going on the outside, but right now it's back to a 4-car breakaway up front. May continuing to lead here, and we'll see what Austin Smith and Jeremy Carter can do.
Austin Smith's going to drop down to the inside with Lance Brantlinger They're going to be 3
Oh,
wide up in front. Kobe Sutphin is stuck in the middle of the 81 down to the inside. That's going to be Anthony Garland. He started all the way back at the back. He's up 15 positions from where he started. Jared Larder, he's going to lose a couple more spots. Austin Smith going to put himself right back in the middle of the mix.
Yeah, they're continuing to run here. There's the 3 wide that we were talking about earlier in the race. Oh, look at the move up top right there. Jeremy Carter and another car on the wall. Not sure who that was. Oh, boy, that's tough. But how about that? Kobe Sutphin now challenging for the lead on the outside with the push from Austin Smith. We'll see where they can go right here.
Yeah, definitely if you do get in the wall and you can't get out of it, you're going to lose a bunch of positions. But as long as you don't have really bad damage to the right side of your truck, you should be able to get back up there. Just in that little instance, Jared Larder lost 8 positions on the field. He's still in the draft, still able to make his way back up there and be in contention, but the whole front row that started on the front row is no longer on the front row. Gary Donnellan has dropped himself back to 10th, and Wesley Triplett is even further back in P number 17, 1 lap down. So your top 2 that started on 1 and 2 already not even nowhere near the front.
And with that, Kobe is going to cruise on the outside. A nice move there to take the lead and clear the 16 and 8 lead. Now, what will the 16 do? This is technically probably the furthest back he's been in a hot minute. So how will he handle being behind the 10? Because I'd be shocked if Kobe doesn't put that much pressure on the 16 to try to keep this lead. But up top, they're looking really organized. Austin Smith with some great pushes to the 10 here, and they're going to surge to 1 and 2. Try to go down to the bottom, but no, they're going to stay up top into the wall. It looks like 26 as well, Jeremy Carter. But now Nate Lee hops to the outside. Now it's 3 cars. It looks like the 23 is consistent with pushing the 10 for now. Now he looks to the inside for the lead. Not quite.
Yeah, Kobe not going to be able to get down to the inside like Austin Smith was able to do. They're going to be 3 wide. Nate says, hold my beer. I'm not going to follow the number 10 machine. I want that clean air. He's going to be traveling back up to the race front, and everybody's going to go back on around Kobe Sutphin for the time being, but he's going to be able to possibly put his nose up there, and he's only going to lose 1 position to the number 16, but it could have been more if everybody was committed to that outside lane and wanting to keep pushing themselves all the way around that number 10 machine.
Great job by the 16 to get back to the lead, but now it's Austin Smith on the bottom trying to take the lead with the push from, it looks like Anthony Garland there trying to help out the 23 right now, but the top 2 looking pretty organized. Nate Lee hanging on just up top. He's going to continue to get pushed by the 10 here at Kobe, and they're going to continue to have a nose out. It looks like the 10 is going to clear the 23, barely tries to get down, and now he gets to the inside and try to take the lead away from the 16, who doesn't really have much help. And now it's the 23 of Austin Smith heading up top to help.
Yeah, Austin Smith is going to go anywhere that the runs are going to be at, as they're going to be 3 wide. Cameron Combs up into the outside wall. Joshua Neal almost getting involved. Same with the number 23. The 23 of Austin Smith got in the outside wall as well. He's going to lose a lot of spots down to that inside. The 81, the 8, the 84, the 5, all going to potentially get by that number 23 machine. And this is where you'll see the people that didn't want to save tires, just want to hurry up and bum rush the front. This is where you're going to see him get tight going into the corners, potentially try not to lift, and wants to get any and all coverage that they can out of those trucks.
Man, it's turn 3 that I'm watching every time. That's where it seems like most of the drivers are seeming the most uncomfortable, because you got the drivers who are trying to hook the bottom, but some of them are flying up to the top trying to get an arc, which, they're trying to save for the corner, but because these drivers are so organized and trying to push each other, it's tough because they keep going back and forth. I mean, look at this right here. We'll see what these guys do entering the corner. Kobe in the 10, doing a nice job, going up a little bit, gets a nice arc, stays hooked to the bottom, but the 16, how about that? With only 2 trucks up top, they are staying very organized, and Nate is going to lead that lap just barely. But how about that? Strong run by the 2. Look at the 81 of Anthony Garland trying to beat the inside, but not quite there.
Yeah, Anthony Garland kind of keeping his distance away from that number 10 machine. Obviously, You don't want to be all over the back bumper going into a corner, and it is definitely an art to be a great pusher in any series that you run. Me personally, I'll push you all the way up to the corner. Like I'll push you into the corner, then I'll hit my brakes just a little bit, get in the car or truck or whatever I'm running just to slow down just a little bit. So that way I have a little bit of distance between you, but it still feels like I'm pushing you through the corner. And then once I'm out of the corner, I'm back on your back bumper. We're locked in. We're ready to go. And that's exactly what the 23 and the 81 seems to be doing. The 23 is doing it to the number 16, and the 81 is doing it to the number 10. You can see there the 23 slid all the way up the racetrack. Thankfully, there wasn't a driver on that outside. But already 34 laps are, or well, 33 laps are complete, coming around to take lap number 34. And we've seen the 3-wide racing, we've seen the 2-wide racing. Now we're going to get synced up doing the lane, one lane racing. And if this is anything, yeah, there it is.
Ooh.
Pit stops underway. The 16 and 10 going to be the only two to go down into pit lane this time by, as the 23. Everybody else is going to be able to stay out. Get the track map up here for you guys. Didn't realize I didn't have it up. There you go. Well, they got another taker in a pit lane with them. So there's 3 cars in. Gary Donnellan, Nate Lee, and Kobe Sutphin. All 3 of those drivers in a pit lane this time by. And now there we see the race leader. He's going to elect to go down into pit lane this time by, along with Caleb McKinney.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to. Now we're going to allude what we brought up earlier here, and that's making sure that these drivers are going to have a pusher here. Look at the entry by the 6. I'm going to be, wow. Oh, jeez. Oh, what a save there entering pit road. Now that's aggressive. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, that's about having drivers come to you on pit road. We saw Nate and Kobe bring it in together, and that's going to help because if these drivers exit pit road, coordinate well enough, they will exit and be by themselves. Hopefully they can push, gain some speed. But now we have this pack here all coming in together. So now it's going to all be about how are they going to exit pit road, and will it be organized? I'd imagine it should be single file. So if they want things to be just as orderly, but now they're going to all bring it off pit road. We will see how it finishes here. It looks like the 5 is going to come out ahead. Not bad overall. Now we'll see where the 10 and the 16 blend in.
Yeah, right here you can see they're 2 wide coming off of pit road. The 76 is going to try to get there. There's the 10 and the 16 right behind them. They already got the full head of steam. They're going to be able to get that race lead on back as everybody else down in the pit lane this time by. Everybody doing what they need to do, but actually they're getting a little bit of speed back. There they go. They're going to power on the outside.
Oh.
That was cutting it a little bit close as I see smoke going through there. No caution for the time being, and Nate Lee is going to be your provisional leader once he gets around the number 15, and there it is. Around the number 15, the 82 is going to slide up top with the number 10, but they fed him a dummy. They're going to drop down to the inside.
All right, so now we got that pit road sequence all completed there. Overall, really solid, but of course that has stretched this field out. You can take a look there on the track map. You have drivers entering turn 1. Meanwhile, there are also a few exiting turn 4 right now. So now these drivers at this point are probably going to stay single file, try to get as organized as possible, have a partner, push each other, hopefully get up to this lead draft. That's what we could see with 2 guys behind as well. Looks like Brandon over there is trying to get the outside to roll with the push from Austin Smith, but overall, I want to say it's good execution by all these drivers on pit road. Now we have a good 5-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, good 5-car battle for the race lead here tonight. As the top 5 kind of spread themselves out from everybody else, and then you got a 2-car tango right behind them, but Jarrett Larder ended up going back down into pit lane. Not sure what happened to the number 2 machine. He's been sitting there for about 2 laps now, so I wonder if he had to serve a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He might have a stop and hold penalty for now. If not, maybe it is also because I believe he was one of the cars that got into the wall earlier, so he may have a penalty and might be fixing some damage as well here. But 5 cars continuing to battle here. Now we got 2 more coming up in the distance, about to make it 7.
Yeah, it's the number 4 and the number 76 of Caleb McKinney and Gary Donnellan. Gary Donnellan was one of the drivers that started on the front row. He's trying to put himself back up there And now we got a gauge on, pit stops and all that. So looking at about 34 to 36 laps. So next pit stop's going to come on lap number 70-ish, around
Mm-hmm.
there. And that should potentially be good for the end of the race. And so a two-stop race here tonight is the number 2 machine is out of pit lane this time by. But Tyler, I think it's time where we got enough laps in under our belts. We're going to go ahead and turn our volumes down, turn the truck volumes on up, give these guys a little bit of, you love to hear it.
Let's do it.
And we are back here with the Mid Atlantic Racing Series there, enjoying our little You Love to Hear It sessions. Is riding on board with the number 76 of Caleb McKinney with no numbers on that number 76 machine. So I wonder if he changed the number font or color to make it match the white part of the truck. But there you see, no numbers on that door or on the roof. But out to the race lead is going to be the number 5 of Braden Puffenbarger. Second is going to be Austin Smith. Third is going to be Nathan Lee. So he's looking to go down to the inside and take over some positions, riding on board with him now. And then number 16, it's him and Jared Larder, who is 3 laps down on the field after either potentially serving that black flag that he got or ended up fixing damage.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see now how the race plays out here. We're over halfway now, so these drivers are pretty acclimated now to the racetrack, probably good with their trucks now. We have, what do we got? 5 cars, 6, now about to be 7 here in the lead draft. All of these drivers are catching up, so the pack is going to get bigger here, but obviously we have the lap down car of Jarrett Larder, so shouldn't really affect much there, but it will be interesting to see how he plays along in this draft. Looks like he did have a little bit of damage when we were checking on some cars during that You Love to Hear It session, but overall right now it's the top lane that's looking the strongest overall. Nate Lee, though, doing a good job, though, holding that bottom lane, not losing a lot of momentum and positions here. He's just losing a few at a time, but he's gaining him back in the corner a little bit here, but now that it looks like his help with Jared Larder is kind of getting further back, it's getting a little bit more tricky, but that top lane continuing to prevail.
Yeah, definitely going to be something to look forward to. Obviously, Nathan being down there by himself. Now he's got a little bit of help. So he's got the 15. The 23 is kind of riding just a lane higher. Now they're all forming into that line once again. Obviously, pit stop's not going to happen again until probably about lap number 70. So look at about 21 more laps before these drivers go into pit lane. And for it being Atlanta, I had to say, for it being as clean as it has been and no cautions, you got to wonder when's it going to happen. These guys are showing a lot of patience out here tonight so far. Obviously, you don't really see it running too wide or anything like that, but they're doing what they need to do to keep themselves away from potential danger and ruining their races here tonight. There's a lot on the line for some of these drivers that are in the playoffs, but then you also, you can't win a race if you're sitting in a pit lane. Is Nathan Lee going to slide up, try to make it through the middle? Not going to be able to do it. Now he's going to go up to the top side with the number 76. That was almost a yard sale and a half with parts of trucks flying everywhere, but everybody going to be able to keep everything straight and going. It looked like Caleb almost got on the outside wall going through the trioval.
Well, you were talking about it clean here. Let's hope he didn't jinx it whatsoever. But overall, right now, these drivers still doing a really nice job. Obviously, we're seeing still tons of aggressive moves. We've seen a couple drivers get into the wall a few times, lose the draft. So it's not like there are incidents that have been inevitable right now. But overall, nothing big has happened yet. Again, it's going to be a matter of not really if, but when, because we know this type of racing. We know how aggressive these drivers can be, how quick the gaps close with these trucks, and how difficult the racing can be right now. But this front pack is starting to get a little bit bigger. Obviously, the next pack of trucks is pretty far back. It looks like they're just crossing start finish now. So unless something big happens with this pack and nothing happens maybe on pit stops, it looks like our main competition right now is going to be in this main pack right here.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously anybody from the back can win it as well, right? Gary Donnelly can come from 10th all the way up to P number 1. Lance Brantlinger can go from 11th to 1st. I mean, it can come from anywhere. Like last night, I qualified 33rd out of 34 cars at Daytona. I got up to the lead with about 20 or so laps to go and ended up getting a speeding penalty into pit lane or coming out of pit lane that kind of ruined my chances. But, I mean, I stayed in the back. I didn't care about the stages. I just wanted to keep the car clean. Missed every wreck. Somehow missed every single wreck. And it just you got to have the strategic side of plate racing. You can't just hurry up and just put yourself three wide every single lap. It's not going to really work out in your favor the way that you want it to, or anything like that. So you just got to know when to make those moves. Is the 15
Mm.
sliding on up, the 23 is going to do the same thing. Same with the number 5, and already the 5 already lost the race lead. He's going to give it over to the number 15, and already a new top two. So I mean, with every passing lap, it's going to be something different out here on the racetrack. And Nathan Lee getting a little bit tight through the center
Mm.
exit of the corner, going to give a little bit of a bump to the number 15, but not enough to upset the truck or push him sideways or anything like that. And now Cameron going to come down and cover off that bottom lane. He's going to slide back up top with Austin Smith. Going to slide back down in front of Nathan Lee. And now Nathan Lee got down to his inside. That's not what Cameron wanted to see. Look at the side draft. Look
Oh,
at the pinch all the way
oh,
down.
oh.
Could have been detrimental to a lot of that racing. And Nathan Lee got to hurry up, get back down to the inside because I think Joshua Neal was looking to make it possibly three wide going into turn three.
Ooh, yeah, that now it's starting to get wild because we have pit stops coming up here very shortly. But like you said earlier, you talked about, how these races go and how they progress. And some people discredit them sometimes for saying, all luck, no skill. We know that saying, but like as someone, both of us who have done these types of races before, yeah, there's luck involved, but it's still really difficult. You need to put a lot of skill. You got to learn how to draft. You got to know how to push. You got to learn how to defend. I mean, there is still so much that these drivers need to do. And even for in these cases, you got to learn to do strategy too and pit with drivers when you know it's going to be the right time and it's not going to be detrimental to you. So, overall, it's pretty crazy. Again, these drivers are doing a great job of not having anything big here go on, and that's another part of skill here, being able to manage and have good car control. So overall, really good. As here goes Austin Smith with a really nice move to the inside to try to take the lead away from Cameron Combs here. Where will Nate Lee go? It looks like he's going to stay on the bottom, and it's going to push the 23 to the lead.
Yeah, we've seen the 23 up towards the front this whole time, and he finally gets a lap led on lap number 68. And, those points could be crucial. I mean, I think they do a point for the lap led. I think they do a point for the most laps led. And then obviously the winner of the race as well. So leading all these laps is going to be Nathan Lee and other drivers, but for Austin Smith to finally get the race lead and come on in is
Oh,
the 16 going to drop down all by himself. Nobody's going
oh,
in with him. So that's oh man, that's oh
hmm.
he's gonna want to hope for a caution later in this race to get himself called back up to the race field and everything. But with him doing that, he could be in good shape. Obviously, these drivers are going to be able to get ready to go into pit lane this time by, or maybe next time by. It, I mean, it can go both ways, Tyler. Obviously, the 23, the 82 is going to go down into pit lane this time by, along with the 5, the 10, the 4,
Hmm. Oh,
and the
there goes
76 is
Caleb.
going to spin it
Oh,
into pit lane. Too much brake bias for the rear of the truck, and that's
hmm.
going to be beneficial to these 6 drivers who are in the pit lane doing what they need to do. But now Cameron Combs is out there all by himself. So that's what the number 16 needs. He's going to be by himself. He's got the
Hmm.
74 behind him. Obviously, the 74 is not for position, but that's also going to help him with the draft. Is the 23, the 82, 10, 12, 6, 5, and 4 are all out of pit lane this time by, and that's going to give potentially the race lead back on over to the number 16.
Yeah, what a lucky pit stop. He's already got the momentum. You can see he's coming around turn 2 right now, I believe. So he should have the momentum to at least get close here to take the advantage. Yeah, great run overall. And obviously, I mean, that spin by McKinney was detrimental, especially to his race. But I mean, hey, the 16 absolutely lucked out. Honestly, what I'm surprised these drivers didn't do, I mean, was even maybe run just a couple extra laps to stay up to speed, and maybe that could have hurt the 16 from staying in the draft when they blended off pit roads. So kind of interesting to see overall right now, but Huge break for the 16. Great pit stop overall. And I'm telling you, these pit entries are absolutely wild.
Yeah, another thing to note there is, with me doing a lot of open setup races and doing this and doing that, it's you definitely want to do the cutoff. And by the cutoff, I mean since that 16 went in one lap earlier, the longer you stay out on older tires and the longer he's out on newer tires, you're going to lose all that time that you just gained on him. So Austin Smith and company doing what they needed to do, obviously to take that cutoff down. And you can see right there what I mean. Nathan Lee was able to
Hmm.
get back in the draft and stay with these drivers. Whereas if Austin and everybody else would have stayed out a couple more laps, Nathan Lee would have been able to pass everybody and been out there by himself. Obviously, the draft would have helped everybody else that went in together to catch Nathan Lee, but it would have taken a couple of laps to get realigned, get back in that rhythm, and get back up to speed. As Nathan Lee going to drop back down to P number 4.
Yeah, overall, still pretty good. What do we got? Four, eight. We got 8 trucks right now in this lead draft in the battle for the win. You can see the 15 there of Cameron Combs trying to gain back everything he had just before that pit stop. Nobody on the outside to help him right now. Everybody's pretty organized on the bottom right now. We'll see if anybody decides to jump up and help that 15, but doing really good side drafting the 16, the 23 to get up there. It's going to stall out a little bit here on the straightaway, but still doing a nice job. And at this point, it's going to be a sprint to the finish. About 20, now about going to be 23 laps to go coming to the line. Not 23. Well, there's still plenty of time to go, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely going to be something to watch out for. And another thing to note, Wesley Triplett is a couple laps down. He got out of the way of the lead lap cars, and that's a stand-up move. Obviously,
Mhm.
you want to get up there. You want to get your laps back so that way you have a chance at the race win. But with the way that this race has been going, no cautions, he's just going to go ahead and get out of the way, let these drivers go on. He doesn't want to be the reason why somebody didn't get the race win, obviously, So he's going to let all the lead lap cars go by him. He's going to file in right behind them. That's exactly what I did last night. I was 2 laps down on the field at Daytona last night, and they had to. I let everybody go on by. Told them, hey, I'm gonna go high. You guys go on by me. I'm gonna go drop behind you, and I'll just help push whoever to the race win. And that's exactly what ended up happening. I pushed somebody to their first race win in that series. Got them into the playoffs, and we went from there. But like you said, still single file. Kobe Sutphin's got to get that draft all the way up to the number 12. Is he's kind of falling back just a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, he should be just okay here. He does have that 1 point line, so that's gonna help just a little bit. But as long as he can continue to hold a good line, especially with these guys running single file, you'll probably have a few of them in front, maybe check up just a little bit. But now there is the 26 of Jeremy Carter coming up as the lap car, so that's gonna add another one to the pack here. I'm sure that'll probably help the 10 out as well. Doesn't look like he's going to drop in right away, but yeah, he's going to stay up top. Again, very professional move by the 74 and the 26 as well. And even Larder earlier in the 2, I mean, he was laps down, but he was in the main pack, but he ended up dropping to the back, really not wanting to affect the overall race for the win. So very good move by some of these drivers as well. But now it's single file right now. We only got oh goodness, I'm still trying to 29
19,
laps to go here.
19
19. No, yeah, okay. So yeah, either way,
or 18.
um,
Yeah.
it's pretty good overall. These drivers saying single file. Probably they're gonna time their moves here. Probably gonna see this for just a little bit. These drivers are gonna plan some things out and make some moves later in the race.
Yeah, they're gonna try to plan something. Obviously, they know too wide it can work. They know what kind of runs that they can get, and that's what the first part of the race was all about, right? Seeing what
Hmm.
kind of runs you can get, keep it in your memory bank to see what you can do. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder with everybody in one line like they're doing it now, but it's potentially setting up for a great finish here to the Atlanta race. And that's what we like to see. You want to eye up your runs. And for me, it's kind of like Pocono in Indianapolis. You don't make your passes going into the corner. You make your passes coming out of the corners, and that's essentially where you see all the passes coming from is coming out of the corner. They're going to set it up. Going to dive down to the inside, and obviously their forward momentum is going to help propel them past where they need to be. And then obviously they got to be able to do that coming through the rest of the field. So you're going to see drivers use a little bit of the clean air, get back down into the draft, and see if they can't do a little bit of a crossover or anything like that to get around these drivers.
Yeah, continuing to stay single file for now right here. I'm very curious to see what this 10 is doing because I do like what he is building on right now because he doesn't want to stay in this main pack right now. He wants to keep his distance because, you know, you never know. Even in single file, something big could happen. So he wants to keep a little bit of a draft. He's got 2 trucks behind him who are laps down. I would assume in their position, they're just going to be there to maybe help the 10 gain a little bit of momentum and keep them in this lead draft. So I like what the 10 is doing so far. It's something I would do. Just hang back, see what these drivers do, and then maybe when they start racing, get up there as well and maybe join in and see what can happen here. But 25 laps to go. I'm sure all the strategies in these drivers' minds are through the roof right now. Not many to go. And hey, even the end of the season's coming up, and I'm sure driver right now would like a win.
Yeah, and it's also a good move by Kobe to kind of keep his distance here because if these top six get to racing, uh, it could be detrimental to them. They could have a wreck, and Kobe could be the one that narrowly escapes. So, keeping a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a distance like that to where you can see all six drivers all out of your windscreen instead of just the one or two in front of you is a really, really, really positive move of the number 10 machine. Keep his distance. You know what? Hey, if they get to racing, I want to be able to get through the wreck. Don't want to go down into pit lane to take the fast repair. Obviously, if a caution does come out with 23 laps to go, or anything like that, you're going to want to go down into pit lane, use, get some tires, get some fuel, get whatever you need to be in contention of the race win. You don't want to be stuck on older tires or the less amount of fuel over everybody else.
Yeah, and something especially to point out with the tires, I mean, it has to do with this track. Obviously, at tracks like Daytona and Talladega, the tires don't really matter as much. That's why you see drivers do a lot, you know, can get away with a few fuel-only pit stops, maybe right sides, 2 tires somewhere, and they can get away with it because, I mean, it's the draft of Talladega, you know, you can run full throttle there no matter what, but at Atlanta, I mean, it's still really different. It's still just the shape of a traditional mile and a half, like the old Atlanta we've seen. And I mean, the corners are very steep and they are still going really quick. So you will see somewhere on these tires, drivers will probably be lifting in the corners a little bit, save a little bit entry. And that's probably why we've seen so many drivers wash up on entry a little bit and maybe even in the middle of the corner. Because I mean, like you even mentioned earlier with the pit stops, I mean, drivers are going to lose a little bit of time with the older tires. So, I mean, hey, it's pretty good to stay single file right now, not really push it overall. But yeah, we will see how that lasts right here with 21 to go.
Yeah, definitely going to see what happens. Obviously, everybody being nonchalant right now, still want to run a single file. Going to do what they need to do is Kobe still keeping his distance. I think the 12 might have seen what Kobe was doing. He's going to start backing himself up because we got a little bit of smoke on the front stretch. Everybody's still keeping it straight. So going to go ahead and look up here at Cameron Combs, who's currently riding in P at number 5, up 10 positions from where he started. He's currently our biggest mover of the race, and definitely going to be fun to watch.
Rolling down here. I'm continuing to look right now. I mean, even look at Josh Neal. He wasn't leading very much middle of the race. It's been all Nate Lee here, and seeing him lead this race, getting some laps led, that's going to be crucial. And I believe you said about bonus points for leading laps, and the 82 continuing to lead this many. I mean, that's good right now. He got a lap truck coming up here, but really shouldn't affect. Hopefully, very much yes. That's Caleb McKinney flying to the outside, letting the leaders go by. Very good move. Oh my goodness, the 16 almost wrecked himself off the front of the 15. But overall, yeah, it's different. Some drivers are up front. You got Brandon Puffenbarger up front as well, so that's a little bit different as well. So we will see how these drivers are going to be able to hold on with the lead. As I mean, the most dominant drivers all day are pretty much right there in third and fourth.
Yeah, still sitting in third or fourth, just doing what they do. Sorry for laughing. I just happened to look over at the couch and seen little Maverick over there staring at me, just chilling. But yeah, it's just something to watch. I mean, you see everybody. Nathan's trying to get up to the outside. Nobody's really wanting to go. They just want to stay on that inside. And you know, if you try to fake like you're gonna go move up to the outside and nobody goes, me personally, how I do it, and you can say I'm an asshole, I guess you could say, for saying this on stream, but I'll go with somebody on that outside. I'll fake them out like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go with you if they test out feelers. But the minute they move to that outside, oh yeah, I'm taking that spot away. They're like, oh really? Yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm staying down to the inside. I need an escape route. Inside lane is the way to go, especially around any type of plate track. Inside, just so that way you have room to move out of the way in case something does happen. But now you got Kobe and I believe Caleb McKinney, who is a lap down, using that outside to their advantage. And
Oh,
Kobe
oh,
almost was
oh.
not clear. That could have been very bad for the number 10 machine, but he's going to keep the momentum going. He's going to try to make it up to the top four all by himself, essentially. He's so far around the number 16, but lost it even more. Is Kobe all by himself, and this is what we were talking about. When do you want to start pushing and making that move? Is Kobe still hanging strong side by side with the uh still holding strong with the number 16.
Hey, though I don't mind it. Only 14 laps to go, and yeah, when we're drivers gonna make their moves, I don't mind it. I mean, the 10 was basically at the tail end of his pack anyway, so if it doesn't work, it's not like he's gonna lose very much because I mean, he's just gonna go back to where he was. So it's not like it's gonna hurt that badly. But I mean, hey, looking pretty strong, holding that outside. I'm curious how much he maybe even saved his tires with that little bit of a gap because he's not losing that much time up top. He's doing really good side drafting right now, even a little bit of check up there on the inside. He's side by side for third place. It's just a matter of who will jump up with him. Will it be behind him? Will it be in front of him? Who's going to be the most aggressive? We'll see.
Yeah, it's the aggression level is definitely going to start coming on up through the field as the 16 going to slide up, almost gets into the side of the number 10, and that's not what they want to see. Obviously, Joshua Neal loving what he's seeing right now. Everybody kind of side by side doing what they need to do behind him. And he kind of wants it to stay that way. He's not putting any pressure on the number 82. He's not putting any pressure on the 5 or the 23. Like, the top three are fine. That's where they want to finish. But for Kobe and Joshua McNeil or Logan McNeil, excuse me, and Nathan Lee and Cameron Combs, they all want to hurry up, get to the front, and see if they just can't win this thing.
Well, I could see what Brandon is doing right now, and he keeps putting a gap in between him and the leader right now, which is really interesting. That tells me he wants to build up a run to go for it, and you can see it right there. He jumped to the outside. Now it's a 3-car tandem on the outside. They're going to be aggressive. The 10 is into the wall a little bit, so that's going to hurt their momentum now overall. But now it's the 5 of Brandon leading this outside with the 23 into P2, and like you said, that's exactly what Joshua McNeil wants to see. These guys continuing to race behind for position. 2 cars leading on the outside, a little bit disorganized right now, but 10 laps to go. They're gonna hope someone eventually jumps up and continue, hopefully get to the lead.
Yeah, you can see there the 5, 12 trying to make something happen. Top 3 has now been changed as the 5 is out of the top 3 now, but he's got the 12 pushing him around the Atlanta Superspeedway. And now the 15 is going to be put back up into the picture. Kobe's going to be in the picture again, as well as, well, no, Jeremy Carter is 1 lap down. So you don't have to worry about him playing spoiler and getting the race win. But that top lane is starting to form. They're coming around that outside. Is Joshua Neal able to make his truck wide enough to block both lanes?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the 10 was going to jump up there. It looked like he had a huge run there off of turn 2, but he decided to stay on the bottom, which allowed the 26, Jeremy Carter, who is, I believe, a lap down and not for position as well. So we will see how that goes. But meanwhile, up front, it's Joshua Neal holding on, but Brandon on the outside with that push from Logan McNeil. They are going to be side by side, front 2 rows, back and forth. Now, who will jump up next? Will the 15 decide to jump up because he's all by himself? Where will the 10 do? Because we saw him be aggressive on the outside, just overstepped it a little bit too much there, getting into the wall. But overall, it's going to be the 5 truck of Brandon Puffenberger leading this race. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely going to be something here. Is it kind of just disembobbled there going through turns number 3 and 4? Wait, no, yeah, 3 and 4. And now we're back to the backstretch here. And already you can see everybody went back down to the inside, and now you got the 2 cars up on the outside all by himself. But it's going to be Brandon Puffenbarger with the race lead out here tonight. He got around the number 82. He took down the inside lane with 7 laps to go. Anything can happen.
Yeah, literally. And look at how aggressive that 10 truck's going to be. I'm going to continue to watch him here. See how aggressive he's going to get. You could see the 82 Josh Neal trying to slide up. He thought the 12 was going to get there quicker, but wasn't quite there. He was ready to go up and challenge for the lead, but wasn't quite ready there. Still only the 2 trucks there, and the 15 looks like it's the last one in this pack on the lead lap. The rest behind are, I believe, a lap down. Yeah, so this is going to be continuing. Interesting to see where they continue to go. Now they're going to stay side by side. It looks like Austin Smith tried to jump up, but didn't have enough room.
Yeah, definitely going to see what he can do. Obviously, riding on board with Cameron, he's got the run down to the inside. Is the 82 might be coming into pit lane? The 5's
Both of
coming
them
in?
Are they not good on fuel?
If they're not good on field, this is going to change everything.
Wow.
Yeah, the 82, the 5. Oh, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 people that just went in. So Brandon Puffenbarger, Joshua Neal, Chad McNeil, Kayla McKinney, all in the pit lane this time by. If that's the case, this is going to put a wrench in everybody's plans. The last time those drivers pit was, it took it away. I don't know what time they pit.
Oh, I mean, hey, at this point, I mean, these drivers are aggressive. Either they're going to try to pit off of turn 4 to gain as much time as possible, or they're going to hope they saved enough because these 4 right now up front were not really leading at all. So they were lifting and probably saving a little bit of fuel. So with 3 laps to go, will they be able to make it? I'll be curious. I think the 10 is in a good spot because he's been drafting behind him. The other top 3, they've been all there as well. So they're going to come to 2 to go. I will be curious if they can make it. It doesn't look like Nate Lee is going to make it.
Yeah, Nate Lee not going to be able to make it. If he's not going to be able to make it, the 23, the 15, the 10 is not going to be able to make it either. But I mean, with 2 laps to go, you got to try to push it, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
I think honestly, maybe the 23 and the 15 might be able to make it in the 10 because of how much they were saving back in the back of the draft.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, they're continuing to push because maybe they're thinking, I mean, what's there to lose at this point? Just push and hope it doesn't run out as they come to the white flag.
Yeah, coming around to take 1 lap to go. Caution-free race here at Atlanta Superspeedway. 1 more time around is going to be between the 15 and the number 23. Who's going to lose first? The 15 got to the inside of the number 23. They're going to be drag racing down the backstretch. Here comes the number 10. He's going to force it 3 wide.
3 wide as they come into turn 3. Where are the lap cars going to go? Look at the 12 of, oh goodness, of Logan McNeil. They're all over the place. The 15 takes the lead as they come out of 4.
15 is going to go ahead and take the lead coming out of turn number 4, but it's going to be Cameron Combs getting the race lead and the race win. Logan McNeil finishing second, and your top 3 is going to be Kobe Sudfin doing what they needed to do. But what a topsy-turvy race there for all these drivers as they had pit stops coming with the final couple laps. They had everything happening all super quick and did not realize it. I thought they were going to make it on the rest of the race. I mean, they were pushing it 34 to 36 laps on a tank of fuel, and then all of a sudden they just weren't able to get that final run in for the final 36 laps. So definitely a hard-fought win for the number 15 of Cameron Combs. And the move of the race is going to be Cameron Combs moving it down to the inside, getting around Austin Smith. That allowed for him to get a better run and keep the race lead. And then obviously Kobe tried to make it 3 wide, trying to get something to happen. Just did not happen in his
Yeah.
favor.
I mean, overall, hey, I'm shocked too. I'm surprised. I mean, of the 16, he was behind drafting as well. So, I mean, the fact that he wasn't able to have enough is pretty amazing to see. But obviously, the 15 has plenty of fuel still in the tank because he just did a pretty good burnout there overall. So, how about that? Great run overall. That was wild. Didn't expect any of that.
So looking at it now, we got Cameron Combs, Kobe Sutphin, and Logan McNeil are top three. Going to go ahead and grab Kobe Sutphin as he's our third place finisher. Kobe, this is Dylan and Tyler in the broadcast booth to get a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy. What's up, guys?
All right, buddy. Well, I mean, kind of walk us through the last 20, 30 odd laps there. Obviously, you've seen some drivers not able to make it the rest of the way. Nathan Lee not able to make it. The five not able to make it. You stayed towards the back, saved the fuel that you needed to save, and you're able to almost come out with a race win here tonight.
I mean, the last 30 laps, I knew I had to pit later with the other guys instead of going in early with Nate because then I was going to be short 2 laps. But going out to the outside was kind of a stupid move on my end. It just burned up whatever I had, but I was only half throttle. So it wasn't like we were pushing at all.
Right. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to take whatever line you can, man. Obviously the high side was the open side, and with the run that you were having, that's where your run ended up taking you. But I understand.
Right, right.
But definitely something, obviously that you want to keep on doing what you need to do, and keeping yourself up there and just having fun. Obviously we've seen you lead a couple laps, we've seen you up towards the front, we've seen you towards the back, and seen you in the wall a bunch. How bad was it with the tire wear, kind of halfway through the race, where you know if you're running that outside, how much throttle did you have to get out of to keep it off the wall?
Oh, I was like quarter throttle. The truck kept bottoming out, so I couldn't turn.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely not what you want to see whenever you have a little bit of bottoming out problem. But Tyler, do you have any questions for our third place finisher of Kobe Sutphin?
Well, I just want to ask you because you were kind of the player of the race, at least in my eyes, because one of the things that I saw you doing was lagging back from that main pack and just, hanging out, watching them, seeing what would happen. And hey, I didn't expect the pit stops like that overall, but it was pretty wild. Do you think lagging back like you were doing there for a majority of that final run, was that beneficial right now into this P3?
Yeah, 100%. Being able to save the fuel that I needed to do to get to the finish line. Like once my spotter said you have 2 to go and you have 2 laps of fuel, I was just like, okay, we're good. We can go now. It was kind of just like a green light at that point. But being able to sit back and watch the speed of what the leaders were doing and kind of strategize how they're doing it, because like being half throttle that whole time behind them, but not losing any time. It's like, okay, so they're obviously saving. They're all in the same position I'm in, but how much are they saving? So it was kind of a game of cat and mouse with the fuel.
Yeah, definitely was fun out there to watch. Obviously, 2 wide, 3 wide. Hell, if there was even more lanes, we could have seen 4 wide all the way through this racetrack. But Kobe, it's been a pleasure having you up here in the broadcast booth. It seems like almost every single week. But if there's anybody on that number 10 machine you'd like to give a shout out to, the floor is yours.
I'd like to thank P1 Racing for kind of sponsoring me through this lovely series. And then, unfortunately, he didn't make it, but Corey, of course, one of the co-founders of the league, talking me through last week's little situation with Brandon at Miami. So that was nice to have like a little cool down talk with the admin and just be like, okay, this is what the deal is. Let's get back into racing and set off all the personal stuff aside.
Yeah, definitely was fun to have you out there racing last week. Obviously, some championship implications going on out there. And then you had it here tonight with a top 3 finish. But congratulations on that top 3. We're going to go ahead and let you get on out here, celebrate that 3rd place finish, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you for the broadcast.
Alrighty, that's going to be our 3rd place finisher of Kobe Sudfin. Going to go ahead and move up to our 2nd place finisher. That's going to be Logan McNeil and Tyler. It's only fair that I let you do the 2nd place finisher. Take it away.
All right, Logan, it's Tyler and Dylan in the booth. You got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, that was wild. That last lap, especially between all those guys running out of fuel and then even the pack growing there at the end. How much are you gonna kind of rewatch that last lap? What more do you think you could have done there to get the lead?
Oh man, I think if I would have stopped, the problem is we were all saving fuel the entire time. So I feel like I was screwed either way. So I don't think there's much I could have done, fuel wise, to stay up there.
Yeah, pretty strong overall, Logan. Take me a little bit through the race overall because you guys went through a lot of different racing elements. You guys were 3 wide, you were 2 wide, tons of side drafting, and then single file there at the end. Even to add on to it, there was fuel saving. So tell me what the racing environment was like throughout the night.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I kind of just stayed in the back the entire time, saving fuel, staying out of trouble, because I thought we were at least going to get 1 caution, but didn't even get a caution. So that was good racing on everybody. Yeah, it was hard racing. I don't know, 20 laps at the end of the race. There, it was pretty tough. We kind of went at it, but all in all, really good racing around all around there.
Yeah, great run there overall, Logan. Dylan, I'll hand it back over to you if you have anything else to add.
No, I don't really have anything else to add. You kind of covered all the bases that I was going to end up asking him here tonight, but such a great run, by the way. I mean, seeing you back up there in the top 3 and having you up here in the broadcast booth, that's actually pretty cool to see.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. It's been a fun league.
Yeah, definitely been a fun league, and I think other than Austin Smith, this is the second. Okay, I don't want to get it wrong. Father and son duo that I've had in the
Yes,
booth.
sir. This is the father. This is the father son.
Yeah, see, bam! I knew I was. It was either brother. It was either brother and brother or father and son. I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a chance with saying father son.
Yep, you got it.
Alrighty, but yeah, I think this is number 3 or 4 brother father son duos out here, and this is the second time that I've been able to get the father son duo up here in the broadcast booth. Austin Smith, obviously being one of the other 2 father son
Yep.
duos, and then you, good sir.
I'm trying to get my dad up in here.
Well,
Nice.
he is sitting up here in the broadcast booth with us.
I see him.
Well, yeah, we got to get that King's Hawaiian truck to the top 3. Next
Isn't
week.
it the best looking truck out there? I
It
swear
is
it
the
is.
best.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me hungry every time I see it. It makes me hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm
And-
trying, boys. I'm trying.
and with me working at a bread factory, and I make Hawaiian bread, it even makes it even better.
Oh man, that makes it a lot better.
Yeah, see, bam, we got this. All right, well, Logan, we're gonna go ahead and let you get it out of here. Celebrate that 2nd place finish here tonight.
All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Alrighty. Gonna go ahead and move on up to our race winner. That's gonna be Cameron Combs in the number 15. Get him up here in the broadcast booth. Cameron, this Dylan and Tyler in the broadcast booth. Get a copy.
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, Caleb, or well, Cameron. Sorry. Kind of,
geez.
you were kind of towards the back there, kind of riding around, saving the enough tire wear and gas to make it through. The pit stops ended up happening, and then I started noticing people in the front were a little bit short, and that kind of helped you out there towards the end.
Yeah, it's the first part of the race, I was just trying to hang out in the back and trying to conserve a little bit and not push too hard and try to extend the fuel run as long as you can. Because if you set yourself up for it in the before the first stop, you can usually carry it a little bit longer. I knew it was going to be tight, but I was definitely hoping to save enough to be able to do it on 2 stops.
Yeah, obviously a lot of things come into play. Obviously, you want to stay in the draft and in the middle of traffic to keep yourself saving some more fuel, and it ended up working out for you. And I'm thinking the move of the race was going into turns number 1 and 2. You were able to get down to the inside, get to the bottom. Austin Smith was not able to do so. You got underneath Austin Smith. That set up for a great drag race for you and him. And then you had Kobe up there on the outside, and it looked like Kobe could have walked away with it because the 12 went with Kobe. And you and Austin Smith, I think, were just at a standstill there in the middle. And it just ended up coming out in your favor coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, it seems like with these things, it's really hard to, like, it takes a while for the outside line to go by. Even like earlier in the race, we were doing it. It was me, Austin, I think Brandon. We were trying to get around the 16, and it was like we were working lap after lap after lap, and it just seemed like we could never get by him.
Yeah, just couldn't get there, but you were able to get there towards the end of the race. But Tyler, if there's anybody, or wow, Tyler, if there's any questions you'd like to ask Cameron, you can go ahead and take it
Yeah,
away.
I actually did want to ask one because I had this on my brain, on my mind. Cameron, you really ran two parts in a race, pretty much from what I saw. You were running basically conservative, kind of middle of the pack, just avoiding everything you can in the first half, and then you get to the second half, you're kind of racing up front, challenging for the lead, and also fuel saving at the same time. So, what was it like, basically having to change your mindset as you go through the race?
Yeah, after that first pit stop, I knew if I could save enough, I could possibly do it on one more stop. So I pushed a little hard during the second run, but after I came into came in to get fuel and stuff, I realized that if I backed it down, it was going to be real tight, but it could be done. So then I just kind of rode behind the 16 there for a while till I knew I had enough, and guys started peeling off the pit, and Austin kind of moved up, so I figured it was my shot, and I thought he was giving it to me, but I don't think he was.
Well, there you go. Good run overall there, Cameron. Thanks for joining us in the booth. Hopefully you had a good race, and congrats. Go ahead and celebrate that victory.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, Cameron, if there's can't wait to see what you do next week. It's been a pleasure having you up here in the broadcast booth. Great win, great fuel strategy by you to get the race win, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again next week.
Now I gotta get one at not a plate track. Every time I'm in a plate track, I get up here, but it'd be nice to get one on a normal track.
Hey, well, next week you can do that as the trucks go to Phoenix. Oh man, I love Phoenix. I wish I could have raced Phoenix. Oh man.
Oh, it's one
Oh,
of my favorites.
oh man. Phoenix is there's something about Phoenix. I just love it.
Yeah.
But Cameron, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate their race win, and we'll be talking to you again next week.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's going to do it for our interviews here tonight. I want to say thanks to Tyler for coming up here in the broadcast booth, helping me out up here. It's been a blast being up here on the broadcast booth, especially for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series. Unfortunately, next season I will not be coming back. I'm going to take some time off from the Tuesday Night League, possibly get down in the truck next season for those guys. But it could potentially still be on CRN next season. It's definitely been a blast having it on a CRN as uh all good things must come to an end. But Tyler, I want to say thank you for coming up here in the broadcast booth with me. Everybody's been a blast having big truck fields doing what they need to do. But that's gonna do it for myself and Tyler up here on the broadcast booth. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.
Goodbye. Bye, chat.